It was a big day in Scottish football with the SPFL making numerous announcements regarding possible league reconstruction and the possibility of fixtures being postponed for UEFA playoff games next season. But there was also another big statement today made by one of the biggest clubs in Scotland, Celtic Football Club, as they have came out and announced that they have reached settlements with victims from the past. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. Yeah, like I said, big news, serious video today. We heard there was news breaking on this yesterday, but today Celtic decided to make an official statement on it. Now, I believe we're uploading this on Tuesday or even Wednesday, so we are technically a day and a half later. Something like that.
Yeah, this was released on Tuesday, but you know what? It's here. We got around to it. And Celtic have themselves responded to it. Of course, 70% of the settlements have been agreed, so around 20 settlements have been agreed in that sense. There is about 6 or 7 to 8 more to be agreed, and I don't know if that's going to push the 7-figure sum into the 8 figures, but we'll have to wait and see. But Celtic Football Club have released a statement, and I quote, "Celtic Football Club can confirm that a number of legal claims in the group proceedings against the club have been resolved. We are hopeful that settlement can be reached with the remaining group members shortly. For some time, we have sought to work with the group members' lawyers to reach resolution. The club acknowledges the strength of the survivors of abuse who have come forward and hope that this resolution may help to bring them some closure. Celtic Football Club is appalled by any form of historic abuse and has great sympathy for those who suffered abuse and for their families. The club is very sorry that these offences took place at Celtic Boys Club. The club takes this abuse extremely seriously because of the historic contacts between the two organisations. The abuse of young people is an abhorrent crime which has unfortunately affected many areas of society. The club continues to work with Scottish football to make it a safe place for all young people." End of statement. So obviously there's a lot to take from this, but one of the main things is it's good that people have finally reached a settlement. We're not talking... it wouldn't matter if the case lasted 6 minutes, 6 weeks, or 60 years, but this is something that spanned decades. When we are talking going back well into the 20th century, man. We're not talking about 1999. We're talking about into the 80s, 70s, and beyond, man. And this has affected people across their lives, and it is a shame that it's taken this long. And I think the biggest shame is it does ruin a lot of lives. And for so long, Celtic have distanced themselves from the boys' club, but now we sit on April 1st, 2025, with this statement being released and this settlement being agreed, with them finally actually acknowledging that, here, this was us. This was Celtic Football Club, because them and the boys' club is essentially the same organisation, and they've accepted responsibility. Because, make no mistake about it, folks, Celtic wouldn't be whipping out 7-figure sums, if this was the case.
Yeah, no, it's definitely Celtic Football Club, and it's all under the one umbrella at the end of the day. It just makes no sense to me, though, why they didn't deal with this sooner. It's affected, obviously, the victims. It's not done them any good. And I don't think it's done Celtic Football Club any good either, having this hanging over them, having this like dark, shadow, this dark cloud hanging over their heads. And it's been pretty much public knowledge for the longest of time now. And, Celtic Football Club their reputation has negatively been affected by this hanging over their heads. So at least the club have come out and they've acknowledged it and they've dealt with it and that they're trying to reach an agreement. Not them like completely 100%, fixed it, but they have, they've made an effort now and they're trying to acknowledge what's happened and they're trying to make it right. But I just don't understand why it's took this long. I think it would have been better for the victims, and I think it would have been better for Celtic as a football club if this was all dealt with years ago.
No, I totally agree, and I think a problem it's got is when this first started, it's a completely different Celtic, it's a completely different board. Like, the people who are in charge of Celtic now, you know what I mean? Like, say you just recently got employed by Celtic, right? 6 months ago. You know what I mean? It genuinely is unfair to paint that person with the brush of people who were at the club and were aware of this stuff.
Yeah, I just don't know why Celtic didn't deal with it.
It had this stuff
years ago.
It needed nipped in the bud. It did.
Address it, fix it, move on. That's what should have happened. And for some reason, it's been allowed to linger over years in years and years, and I don't see what the benefit to that was. I don't see any good that's came from that. I get it. Look, they probably did need to investigate and stuff like that, but I think that they could have came to an agreement a lot sooner than this.
Totally agree. I mean, people, there's a lot of pedophiles that have been convicted due to this, and that's happened donkeys ago. We're not talking about something that's happened in the past 12 months. So if they're getting convicted years ago, should that not have been around the time that this case came to a close? And yeah, like I said at the start, it's only 70%. We're still waiting for a 30% of people to get this solved, and hopefully it can get solved. And it's just it's just a dark time, man. There's nothing to be even said about this, and it's just sick, really. At the end of the day.
Yeah, it's 7 million, seven figures, I believe.
Seven figures, so we don't know if it's
So
1
not
million.
elaborating, but obviously seven figures could be anything from
I would say it's closer
£1
to
million to £9.9 million.
I'd say it's closer to 10, just due to the fact that we're talking about 20 odd people here. I mean, if you divide 20 into a million by 20, it's not a lot of for like a 5 decades long fight for some people. It just seems like money that's went into lawyers and shit for this, man.
Yeah, a lot of these victims. I mean, I would have to assume that there will be victims of this that are already dead.
Yeah, I would say, of course, so. Yeah,
And they will not have seen justice. They will not have seen any compensation. So, I mean, it sucks for them. And there will also be perpetrators. There will be, guilty parties that have probably already passed away.
Yep.
I say probably. I think that's just bound to have been.
Yeah, and what you've also got to say is there'll be people who
Just due to how long ago it
who
happened.
have managed to go free for years without this getting brought to justice until recently. So yeah, it's a shit situation. You know what I mean? You don't want to be talking about this. I want to talk about football. You know what I mean? I want to be talking about cup finals,
Yeah, same.
match previews. I don't want
League
to be talking
reconstruction, qualification places for European spots, coefficient cup, all that good stuff. I'd love to be sitting here talking about Hearts wins that very rarely happen.
Yeah, we jokes about Watergate and all that stuff, but this goes beyond that.
Unfortunately, when Celtic come out and they make a statement like this, then obviously we need to address it because it's a big statement. So, I mean, at least the club, I mean, credit to them for coming out, but it's too late, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it is better late than never, of course, but it's something that should have been addressed donkeys ago.
And
Before I was born.
I'm not too sure why it's been addressed now. I just why now? Why 2025? Like what's
Yeah, and I think that's a question that goes well beyond our, the answer goes well beyond our pay grade. I bet you every single person who's even received their sum in compensation will be wondering that. And I think,
But the rumours have been for years, at least the last few years, that they were saving the war chest because these compensation, these payments were going to be coming out.
When I made the video yesterday, I went through the Daily Record statement, the article, the lawyers, the solicitors, etc. It seemed to me, looking from the outside in, the delay has been simply down to the fact that Celtic completely disassociated themselves with the Celtic Boys Club and said that it was a different organisation entirely. And I'm going to assume that the Celtic Boys Club no longer exists, and due to that, due to Celtic not acknowledging the fact that they were related and under the same umbrella as you said earlier, then who's going to pay it?
Well, if that's the case, why now? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand either. And at the end of the day, hopefully this 70% becomes 100%, and we can move on. I mean, it should never be forgotten because it is a very fucking dark time at the end of the day. But hopefully we can move on and actually talk about football and no court cases like this, because no one wants to talk about this, guys. I want to talk about Hamza Gamani scoring an 88th minute, wonder strike to win an Old Firm. I don't want to sit here and talk about this stuff because it's fucking putrid. So yeah, that's where we're going to leave it. That is the Celtic Football Club statement, and I mean, I'm actually glad that there's, most people on this channel that have come out and condemned their club if they support Celtic, but people spin it into a Rangers thing and talking about, the lawyer he's from the Orange Order or he's from the Lodge. It's fucking desperation of the highest order, man. Like, can you not just take off the tinted specs and turn around and say, you know what, I love my football club. and I've supported them for donkeys. But what they did here and how they acted was fucking rank rotten. With a bit of with a bit of accountability and some self awareness, it would go a fucking long way in my opinion. I'm all for banter, but just fucking hold the L. Don't make it about the club from the other side of the city, because see if this was flipped, I would not be fucking happy with my team. And I'll tell you that for free, man. I wouldn't be. So yeah, that's where we're going to leave it. Till next time. Peace.